Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of KSP Resurgence. Today we are continuing our expedition of the Magnifica system. Magnifica is a huge purple gas giant with some really impressive rings, with 5 moons. I explored one of these moons yesterday. It's called Creek, which is a really cool place with frozen oceans. Now today I plan to land on another moon called Speria. It's like a Titan analog, but as you will see, that did not really happen. But I don't want to spoil too much of the episode, so I might as well just talk about what's going on right now. So this lander right here is a really special one because it's running off of lithium-powered plasma engines. It may be wondering how I'm powering these. I'm not using a nuclear reactor. I'm actually using these really high-tech fuel cells that use beryllium. They generate a lot of power, enough to barely run these 3 engines, although not enough to run them at full throttle, so they do kind of like give less thrust when I try to do full throttle. But they do work, and they actually do work really, really well in a vacuum. The only moon I cannot land this on is Asperia, because the choking atmosphere actually kills these engines. The game actually thinks it has negative thrust-to-weight ratio, which is not ideal at all. Anyway, here's the mothership, which how I brought this lander here. And if I really wanted to, I could probably send it here on those engines alone, but doing so will not be practical at all. I'm initiating the docking mechanism, the procedure, and of course I'm doing the Matlown lazy method of docking. Now, you may see I do have some RCS ports on there, but me, my infinite wisdom, did not give any fuel to those RCS ports. With my mod setup, they use hydrazine instead of monopropellant. But I do not have any hydrazine on board this lander, which is really, really, really stupid of me. Also, that antenna is completely useless this far away from our homeworld, so it will not work at all. And for some reason, whenever I try transmitting something from the mothership, it keeps opening that antenna as if it's useful or something. I mean, the other antenna I have are already deployed. Why do you need to deploy this one? It's just a big pet peeve of mine how KSP handles communication. Wish it was a mod that would overhaul it. So of course we got 1 moon down. We got 4 to go. I'm gonna start landing on them. I'm gonna be landing on 2 moons today, but I'm not gonna tell you which ones. You'll have to find that out yourself. Great view of the rings here. May knows that Magnifica's rings, along with a lot of its moons, are actually on a rather inclined orbit. I'm not actually sure why this is. It just makes things a little bit difficult when trying to travel between the moons. But thankfully, it's just one tiny little inclination change, and that's all you really need. I mean, not really tiny, it's expensive, but with these far future technologies, engines, I can do as many of these burns as I want. It actually do seem to be running out of fuel though, but I will have enough for this mission, I'm sure. A lot of that fuel is spent on really forced encounters or direct burns to get to planet really, really quickly. Just to save time and not have to wait 50 years for a transfer window. You know, I never really care about transfer windows. I just go interplanetary and just keep fiddling around with the maneuver tool until I get an encounter. Now this is Asperia, that moon I was talking about. Very similar to Titan, how it has a hazy atmosphere and hydrocarbon lakes. I actually did land on here, but it was not meant to be. I cut that part out because I didn't actually end up doing that. You'll see why in a minute, how this landing was doomed to fail. Now, here we are at Asperia. I'm transferring the crew to the lander. Well, I'm not doing that yet. I'm just doing science, but I did transfer a crew member to the lander just so I could go on EVA and be able to do all these science experiments a lot easier. Get some nice IVAs with a free IVAing all the stock-like station expansion redux, whoever it is. As you can see, Asperia has a really hazy atmosphere that actually extends really far out. If I were to go any closer, I'd actually end up going to the vacuum of space. Now, we are leaving this place. Why are we leaving it? We haven't even landed on here. We just got here. Well, turns out the lander I designed for this mission was severely underbuilt. It could not take off and actually... It could not land. It could land, but it couldn't get back into orbit. I thought, oh, the orbital velocity is only like a few hundred meters per second. We have double that and we use parachutes. But it turns out I forgot to account for drag, because drag losses are a huge thing, especially in such a thick atmosphere. Now, I did try to use my vacuum lander, because in orbit it does have a good TWR, but thanks to that atmosphere, those plasma engines are about as useful as a brick. So, fortunately, this mission was not meant to be. I got a bit of a problem here, I suppose. However, this is Magnifica V after all. I refuse to send this crew home until we land on all of these moons and return the crew. So, I will figure out a way to land and return. I'll just have to send a lander back from the space center. I mean, I'd rather do so quickly, it's just that this planet's really far away from Sanctar, which is our homeworld. So it's gonna be a little annoying. I could try to do a really expensive transfer stage. I mean, I could do that, but that's what I'll do. I'll do like Landers Express, like a super expensive high-tech space delivery service. Now, this tiny little moon that I'm trying to land on, it's just super annoying. Now, it's really hard to get an encounter because it's so small. Not to mention, it's also has very little gravity, which causes some really bad glitches. And also, to decelerate and actually get into an orbit around it, you have to slow down so much that with a ship of this TWR, which is very low in case you're wondering, it's almost impossible to do it in one burn. So that's a minor to moderate inconvenience. Now, this little moon is called Bikos. Oh, it's Phobos. But Bikos is the other one I'm landing on. Now, Phobos here, like I said, really small. It really annoyed me. There are some big challenges I had to overcome. Well, they weren't big challenges, there's a lot of minor inconveniences all stacked up on each other. Now, I do have to do a lot of fiddling around just to get a good encounter and a good orbit. But eventually, I do triumph and actually get into an orbit around this darn asteroid. Now, this kind of reminds me of another moon asteroid I kind of landed on. It was called Etnus, I think. It was like a moon of Trom, which is a dwarf planet, so it's already small enough. But Etnus had really low gravity and caused a lot of bugs. This just had the same problem. Due to the very low gravity, for some reason the apoapsis sign just will not appear, even in a circular orbit. And this also has some really weird issue where I will orbit Magnifica faster than actually get to the periapsis of this tiny little asteroid. Which is very weird, and like I said, the apoapsis marker on the map screen will not appear. Now, I do want to get rid of this atmospheric lander that obviously does not work very well for its actual job. So I'm just going to crash it into this asteroid. But not right now, because I have a crew on it, I'd rather land on it and actually get science. Now, once again, due to the low gravity, I actually have to do some really weird things here. It will not land, because the landing legs just keep bouncing it off. Not to mention, I did land in some rather hilly areas. So I did have to end up moving my lander. I mean, low gravity bodies can be fun, but not this low. I think some of these would be better to keep as asteroids. Like how Kerbal space program has like meteorites and asteroids. They don't have their own gravity or sphere of influence. They're kind of more like treated like spacecraft. I feel like that would be a better situation for some of these. Just because I feel like treating them as a planetary body can cause some really weird bugs to happen. Now, I'm not going to even do like a whole crew EVA. Doing so would be kind of annoying. Might crash my game. So I'm just going to get Bob here out, plant a flag, site name disappointment, and type on the plaque and just get the science and get out of here. I don't want to stay here for that long, considering doing so may cause some dire consequences. Because Kerbal Space Program does not like little tiny bodies like this. And also I probably misspelled something in there. Of course, I obviously have to do the photo op, get a nice photo of Magnifica in the sky. Of course, I can't forget the science. I almost forgot that. Science is a big part. I want to make sure I have all my stuff unlocked for the tech tree by the time I go interstellar. Because getting interstellar technologies requires a lot of science points. Now, getting to an orbit is a little trivial. We got a nice little cool green sunset with Magnifica there. Now, the rendezvous is a little tricky just because I tried using the maneuver tool, but I could have just pointed straight target and burned. I did not realize this until a little later down the line. So I just kept trying to get my maneuver, my rendezvous, as close as possible. Then I just decided to just time warping. I ended up in the very close to my mothership. Now here we are on a very slow approach. Of course, persistent thrust is causing bugs where it won't let me time warp, so I have to disable all those parts. We slowly pass by the gravity ring and get Bob on EVA to transfer. I'm not gonna bother docking this thing. But unfortunately, doing so kills my camera and then crashes my game. So I will have to dock this thing. In fact, Etnus, the other body I was talking about that had very low gravity, actually did also crash my game. So it's kind of a common bug where tiny little asteroid moons like this end up crashing my game for like literally no reason. Well, I'm sure there's a reason or it wouldn't crash. It's just a very bad reason. Anyway, that's enough about this mission. After this part, there really was no incident. So we'll just dock right here and transfer the crew and science. But first, I will want to actually get onto an escape trajectory, just because I really do not want to do any EVAs just in case I crash my game again. KSP usually doesn't crash for me, but it's in rare circumstances like this where it does. Now, this is the part where I end up accidentally killing everyone on Tenacity. So, I just had to load a quick save there because Phobos is very uneven. So even though the Pashkonix orbit lines say you will be safe, the moon could just rotate and end up slamming your vessel and destroying everything. Now, thankfully I did have a quick save, so I was able to prevent that from happening again. And also, I do want to burn Progrig and actually boost my orbit, just so I don't end up getting another encounter with this darn asteroid. This asteroid really annoyed me, I'm sorry. Anyway, that asteroid is now in the past, so we're moving on to our next target, Bikos. Bikos is a rather odd moon. It does have low gravity, but not as low as Phobos here. Bikos is actually a really unique moon in its appearance, due to the fact that it has a ring of its own. Due to its proximity to Magnifica's rings, it actually stole some of the asteroids making up the rings. As a result, it ended up taking a little pink ridge, very similar to Magnifica's own rings. You can see here. Nice cool little detail of the moon. I'll be landing on this pink ridge today, and also a little area beside it, if I recall correctly, just because I do want to do some biome hopping, just to get some science. Now this landing here, it went without a problem. It worked completely fine. There were no bugs, it all went well. Now I do want to get rid of this vacuum lander, so I will toss it off into the dirt, into the rock of Bikos. So bye-bye lander, you literally did nothing good for me. Except for a land on Phobos, of course, but I could have done that with this other lander here, which is a much more efficient and better design, I must say. I was thinking of a word to say, but I couldn't think of something. Of course, new body, new science. It's a repetitive KSP sciences. Now there goes the lander. It crashed and disappeared from my map. Now, we are a little inclined, I don't like that, so I will be doing an inclination change burn just to match the ridge. Inclination is important when you're landing on a heavier body that actually is Delta V heavy, but with this, anything goes. Gravity is so low, it's not really causing a problem. there's another cool green green lighting effect of Magnifica's sunset. Because something really cool that happens when you pass through when Magnifica is starting to block your light, and you end up seeing the light that you see. You see Magnifica's sunset, and the sunset is very, very green. So everything turns green for just a little bit, and then it goes dark. It's a really cool detail. I think Scatterer adds it, considering that's what adds all the atmospheric effects. Anyway, here we are, landing on Bikos. Almost there. And here we are. Though I do have to time warp a bit because it's still night. Well, more like eclipse, but here it is. Daylight, we have daylight, and now we're going on EVA to explore this wonderful surface. Anyway, we gotta get all the science we possibly can because I want science. I need my beam core antimatter engines soon enough. Besides, after the next episode, episode 26, I'll start to go interstellar. Though of course I will have to finish this mission. This entire mission is going to be split into 3 episodes. You're watching the second one right now. So we're getting pretty close to wrapping up. Also, as I'm recording this voiceover, it's currently Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas, especially if you celebrate it. Yeah, we got the photo op done. Now it's time to go back inside the lander. And once again, I would like to point out a minor glitch that happens when the Kerbals grab onto this ladder. Is that for some reason it causes a phantom force to push the lander sideways. I think you might have seen that a little bit when I first went on EVA, but I was able to get the Kerbals back on board quick enough so that the glitch wouldn't really happen. I'm not going to go back into space just yet. I will be landing in the lowlands just to be able to get some extra science points. Lowlands here are also a little pink. I'm sure some asteroids also end up here. Anyway, of course, I do have to do all the science. Very repetitive, just because that's how stock science works. Maybe I'll get Kerbalism, because I have heard they actually do overhaul science. Because some science experiments with Kerbalism take time. But I'm not going to add it to this playthrough because adding a life support mod, because Kerbalism also adds life support, is a very bad idea. Not to mention, it also says in their wiki not to. Anyway, of course, it's time for the rendezvous. I do have to wait in orbit for a bit to get a good rendezvous, just because I launched at a pretty bad time. Thankfully, this lander can stay in orbit for an indefinite amount of time. Those fuel cells, I'm sure, provide enough electric charge for a long, long, long time. Especially when not using the engines on board. Now, this is the last part of the rendezvous. We're going to dock soon. I really do not have much to say about these moments just because there's already been so many dockings in this single series. It's just kind of annoying having to think of something to say every single time. I should start cutting these parts out or just speeding them up significantly just because they're so repetitive. But of course, I do have to transfer the science on board. And yeah, that's the Bikos mission completed. Now, this is the part where I go to the 3rd moon. I won't be landing on it this episode. Well, it's actually the 4th moon I'm going to. But it's going to a place called Bupis. With 3 O's. So Bupis is the furthest moon. It's another candidate for a colony due to the fact that it's actually on a rather circular... It's not inclined. It's not an inclined orbit like all these other moons. Similar to Creek, which is the first moon I landed on this entire mission. So, yes, I will have to do another inclination change. So, Bupis actually had a little bit of a bug that I had to fix. So, Bupis had a rotation period of 5,000 seconds, which is like about an hour, I think. When it's actually supposed to be spinning 3 times slower. Yeah, there was an update that fixed this, but I'm afraid to download an update due to the fact that doing so might break my installation. So I just went into the config and just changed that one value, just because I wanted to have it similar to the current version without actually updating and potentially breaking my install. There are some new community resource pack configs that I'm really worried about installing due to the fact that it may end up breaking all my resource scans and making some colonies have no resources. So I prefer to keep my current configs just because I don't want to goof anything up. Anyway, here's Boopus in all of its round, rotund glory, I suppose. Even though it's grayscale, I do think Boopus looks nice. Doesn't have any color. Yeah, you don't need color to make a planet look nice. All you need is some variation, some good mountains, some good ridges, craters, and you end up with a nice looking body. I mean, Boopus does have a little bit of color, but like it's very desaturated, I think. Anyway, I will be giving this place a planetary scan. That's why I came in from a polar orbit. I want to see all the resources, and this does have all the resources I'm looking for. It has hydrates, it has water, it has uraninite, it has ore, helium-3, and it also has metallic ore. Everything I need, so I may be colonizing this place in the future. But that will be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye!